Let's go Ravens! What if I told you that this season isn't just about winning games, it's about watching history unfold right before our eyes? Every year, fans hope to see memorable moments, big plays, huge victories. But 2026 could become something even bigger for the Baltimore Ravens. Several franchise records that have stood for years are suddenly within reach, and some of the biggest names on this roster have an opportunity to completely rewrite the history books before the season is over. What's even more incredible is that while some of these records seem almost inevitable, others would require extraordinary seasons to become reality. And when you take a closer look at the numbers, you begin to realize just how close some of these milestones actually are. Before we dive into everything, make sure you've already hit that like button if you believe this could be one of the most historic seasons in Ravens history. And I want to see the confidence of Ravens Nation in the comments. Type, "Go Ravens!" We're about to make history. Now let's get straight into today's biggest story. When people talk about the upcoming season, most conversations revolve around wins, losses, playoff expectations, and championship aspirations. But another storyline deserves just as much attention. Several Ravens players are entering the year with legitimate opportunities to become part of franchise history by breaking some of the most prestigious records the organization has ever seen. One of the most fascinating names in this discussion is Trey Hendrickson. According to the analysis, he has two different sack records within reach. The first, and considered the least likely, is the franchise single-season sack record, currently standing at 17 sacks. While Hendrickson has previously produced seasons of 17.5 sacks, matching or surpassing that total again would require another extraordinary year. The belief is that he is certainly capable, but with so many talented pass rushers expected to contribute throughout the defense, reaching that number may prove extremely difficult even if he enjoys another outstanding season. However, Hendrickson's second opportunity appears considerably more realistic. Another franchise mark that could fall is the record for the most consecutive games with at least one full sack. That streak currently belongs to Nnamdi Madubuike with 6 straight games. Interestingly, Hendrickson has already produced even longer sack streaks during his NFL career, making this record one that appears much more attainable if he finds his rhythm early in the season. The conversation then shifts to one of the most exciting offensive playmakers on the roster, Zay Flowers. Flowers already has a pattern of improving his production every single season. His receiving yard totals have steadily increased year after year, and if that trend continues once again, he could become the owner of the greatest single-season receiving performance in Ravens franchise history. The current record stands at 1,361 receiving yards, and based on his recent progression, surpassing that mark is viewed as a very realistic possibility, especially if the offense continues evolving and remains healthy throughout the year. And if Zay Flowers reaches that milestone, it wouldn't simply represent another personal achievement. It would further establish him as one of the central pieces of the Ravens' passing attack moving forward. The discussion pointed out that his production has climbed every year of his career, and with another healthy season alongside Lamar Jackson, there is every reason to believe that trend could continue. Of course, much will depend on how the offense distributes the football and how Declan Doyle chooses to utilize his playmakers, but the opportunity is certainly there. Then comes what may be one of the most surprising records on the entire list. Derrick Henry has only spent 2 seasons with the Ravens, yet he already finds himself within striking distance of becoming the franchise's all-time rushing touchdown leader. That fact alone says everything about the impact he has made since arriving in Baltimore. The current franchise record belongs to Jamal Lewis with 45 rushing touchdowns, and Henry needs just 14 more rushing scores to surpass that mark. When you consider that Henry recorded 16 rushing touchdowns in each of his first 2 seasons with the Ravens, suddenly those 14 touchdowns don't seem unrealistic at all. In fact, the belief shared during the discussion is that Baltimore will continue building its offense around a powerful running game, giving Henry every opportunity to remain one of the focal points whenever the team reaches the red zone. If the offense improves near the goal line compared to last season, this record could fall even sooner than many fans expect. But even with Henry's remarkable opportunity, there was one record considered even more likely to fall. That honor belongs to Lamar Jackson. The current franchise record for career passing touchdowns is held by Joe Flacco with 212. Lamar enters the season needing just 26 passing touchdowns to become the Ravens' all-time leader in that category. Looking back at his career, that number feels extremely attainable. Whenever Lamar has remained healthy throughout a full season, reaching or surpassing 26 touchdown passes has consistently been within his range. The discussion also emphasized another important factor. As Lamar has matured, his game has continued to evolve. While his ability to make plays with his legs remains one of the most dangerous weapons in football, there is a growing belief that the offense could lean even more heavily on his passing ability moving forward. Better protection up front, continued development within the offensive system, and improved stability across the offense could all contribute to another highly productive season through the air. Health, naturally, remains the biggest variable. Missing significant time would make any milestone more difficult to achieve. But assuming Lamar stays on the field, the expectation is that breaking the franchise passing touchdown record is not simply possible, it's viewed as the most likely record to fall this season. When you step back and look at the entire picture, it's remarkable how many pieces of Ravens history could be rewritten in a single year. Trey Hendrickson has opportunities to chase sack records. Zay Flowers could produce the greatest receiving season the franchise has ever witnessed. Derrick Henry is closing in on becoming the greatest rushing touchdown scorer in team history after only 3 seasons. And Lamar Jackson appears poised to become the franchise's all-time passing touchdown leader. Very few seasons begin with this many legitimate historical milestones within reach. That doesn't guarantee every record will fall, but it does make every touchdown, every sack, and every explosive play even more meaningful as the season unfolds. Ravens fans won't just be watching games, they'll be watching history chase them every single week. There's another reason these potential milestones matter so much, and it's something that often gets overlooked during the offseason. Records like these aren't just individual accomplishments, they're usually a reflection of how successful the team is as a whole. If Lamar Jackson is throwing enough touchdown passes to become the franchise's all-time leader, that likely means the offense is consistently moving the football. If Derrick Henry is finding the end zone often enough to become the Ravens' all-time rushing touchdown leader, that means the running game is once again controlling games. And if Zay Flowers is threatening the franchise's single-season receiving record, it likely means the passing attack is operating at an extremely high level. The same applies on the defensive side. If Trey Hendrickson is putting together long sack streaks or challenging the single-season sack record, that would suggest Baltimore's pass rush is consistently creating pressure and disrupting opposing offenses. Those kinds of performances don't happen in isolation. They often become the foundation of winning football. What makes this discussion even more interesting is that not every record carries the same level of difficulty. Some require extraordinary production over an entire season, while others simply require players to continue performing at levels they've already reached before. That's why the rankings separated the records by probability rather than excitement. Every milestone would be significant, but some appear far more attainable than others based on recent production and career trends. For example, Lamar Jackson needing 26 touchdown passes isn't asking him to do something he's never accomplished. Derrick Henry reaching 14 rushing touchdowns with Baltimore also isn't unfamiliar territory based on his previous seasons. Those milestones are built around production these players have already demonstrated. On the other hand, breaking a franchise single-season sack record requires an exceptional year, even for one of the league's premier pass rushers. That's why Trey Hendrickson's chase was viewed differently despite his proven ability to reach elite sack totals. The excitement for Ravens fans comes from knowing that every week could bring another chapter in franchise history. Every touchdown pass from Lamar, every rushing score by Derrick Henry, every explosive catch by Zay Flowers, and every sack from Trey Hendrickson has the potential to move these players